Hello, I am going to make a video to help some people, hopefully, to get to the rear coach heater in a Winnebago 2004. You know the issue, it's likely not working because the blower motor is seized up and it's blowing a fuse, and if that's your issue, then this may be your fix without having to take out the water heater. And this is the water heater that I have, and a very small access. What I've done to start off with is, hey, I do fit in here, so that's good. And I can see the coach heater, rear coach heater. And right now I have moved the pump for the water so that I can have a little bit more access. No harm done here. I just undid one of the positive wires and unfastened unscrewed this little PEX pipe. So I am just now getting into here where I'm going to try to reach around and unscrew what needs to be unscrewed, grab the blower motor and fix it and put it back. Let's see what happens. Keep you updated. Hello, I'm back. So here's an update. Try to keep you updated as I go and figure these things out. What I did is I turned my wheels to the front so that I could take a look way back in there under this flap right here. If you can see that right here. Right back there is the other side of where the coach heater is, but there's no access panel, and I did check to see if there's some slack in the wires, the power and ground wires that go in, they lead in, and there's enough slack, and there's enough slack also in the hose. You may have to break loose the foam that it's got, but there's enough slack in the 33V. This is the 2004 Adventurer, Winnebago Adventurer 33V. So there's enough slack. So I'm going to try to move the coach heater out of its place and just slide it out a little bit so that I can try to get to the 2 or 4 screws. I'm not sure which one it is yet. That hold the blower motor in from the other side. It's on the other side of the flap, but I don't think there's any way to get to it from inside in the floor register. So I'm gonna try to swing out the whole coach heater unit and reach back and unscrew the screws. Man, I mean, you have to be a contortionist, but luckily I am pretty good at being a contortionist nowadays, but after working on this thing so much. But what I've done so far in order to get to the coach heater is I have moved the water heater, the water pump, the coach pump, and got that out of the way. I got me some light back there. You'll see that this panel right here may have to be removed. This is the cover for the hydraulic arm that is for the slide out, the living room slide out. So I took my handy impact driver and used it to break free the screws that were holding down the unit. I don't know if you can see this, but that was very helpful. I tried this. I just couldn't get enough strength on it. And I tried my normal regular drill, not enough strength. So I had to use the impact driver, and it broke the screws loose, and then it was easy to get them out. So I have one more to go. I'm trying to get the screw there's 3 screws that hold this unit down. It's way back to the right, and so that I can get enough clearance to get to the screws behind the blower motor. I'm about to remove the panel too. I think I can do that. Let me see if I can get a good visual. So if you see the silver screws, I'm about to remove that panel, see what I have to work with. So I'll update soon. All right, so these little screws hold the panel in place, and it appears that, let's see how many there are. What's tricky is that it looks like there's 6 on the left side, and then there's 2 on the right side. And then what's tricky is that there's 1 that holds the panel on way back on the left side, if you can see. Way back there. So let me get that panel and move it, and you can see the hole. Just 1 second. All right, that should do it. Okay, so there's the unit. I'm zoomed in right now. That was keeping it on, and once you can reach around and unscrew that with this, something like this, it's a little ratcheting hand wrench, then with the 1/4 socket. So okay, next I've got to figure out how to get the screws off. There are 4 screws, it looks like, holding the blower motor on. I'm not sure if the resistor is good or not, the high-low resistor. We will find out. I think it's around a $25 part, which can be ordered. If I find out where to order it, I'll put it in the notes. And there we go. Let's see what we got to do next. All right, thought I'd share some of my struggles with you. So my knees are killing me, and I've got these pads. I had to go get a pillow because I am really reaching way back in there. I am trying to get the screws off the back of the coach heater unit. So you can see that screw right there in the middle of the screen. That's what I'm working on. So I got to reach my hand way back around there and there. So this is what I'm using to do that. It is working. It's just very slow and very difficult. I did get the plugs unplugged from the resistor and from the blower motor, so I could do that with one hand. And that's what I'm using right now, is pretty much one hand. So I'm going back to it. Okay, so far a success is I got one of the screws out from the back of the coach heater that's holding the blower motor on. 3 more to go. All right, back at it. All right, sharing another success. I got another screw out. That's the bolt from the other side. So I just put it on there so I didn't lose it, but it fell off when I got the screw out. So 2 more to go. Getting there. But then I don't know how I'm gonna get that blower motor out of the that little spot there. I might have to actually take this off, but I don't want to because HWH repaired my cylinder arm and they sealed it up really nice with this cool black silicone. And I don't want to break it again. I already cleaned it out once. Okay, we'll see what happens. All right, a couple screws later, I pulled out the cover for the cylinder arm. There's no way I can reach everything with this in the way. So temporarily I'm moving it out of the way. It was just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screws. There, and there, and there. So not too bad. All right, back at it. Going way back there to get to the back of the last 2 screws. All right, so it has not been easy. It has not been easy. It has not been easy, but it is possible. I am so excited. This is the savior. This allowed me to reach back and get those other 2 screws and work my way just a little bit at a time. And finally, it was loose enough where I could slide it out from where the screws are there, and the screws are still in there, they just slide off the tabs, right? Since I'd already released these completely, I was able to slide it forward. So everything's unhooked, 4 screws, and I am literally about to pull it out right now. I have not pulled it out yet, but here goes. I'm gonna try to get in here and show you the success. Look at this. Look at this. Look, it is possible. It is possible. It is so possible to get this blower motor out. Oh my gosh. Without taking out the water heater. Okay. Now let's fix this and see if we can get it back in there. Oh my God. What a challenge. But a fun challenge, isn't it all? Until later. Okay, I just pulled this out. And just like everyone says, why the fuses are being blown is because look at this. This does not want to spin. I'm putting some pretty good resistance on it, and it is a little bit bound up right here on the side, and it's just not centered. So I'm gonna try the old washer trick that everybody was talking about. I'm gonna test it. I'm gonna put some 12 volt to it. I'm gonna screw it down first onto a board or something like that before I give it some power. And I hear it can jump on you. So let's see what happens. Hopefully it still works. That would be awesome. I'm excited. All right, talk to you in a bit. All right, so I disassembled the housing, and it's 4 screws. Loosen up the wire through the little vents there, and put that off to the side. You can see once you push, get something to push on the end of the motor there, the little axle there, but now it's spinning fairly. Try to do this with one hand. Spinning very fluidly now, simply, but I'm gonna put a washer in right here on the inside to kind of keep this from getting too close to the motor, which is creating the resistance, which is creating a problem and
blowing the fuse, spiking the amps. So in order to do that, I'm trying to push this the wheel down off the axle. Forgive the terminology here. I'm not a mechanic by trade, or an engineer, just a dude. But I'm gonna try to push it off the rest of the way. All right, I know this is rudimentary, but this is the only way I could get the point. Had to give it some something solid so that I could push the plastic. It's very snug off, and I was able to get it most of the way. I just backed up that screw a little bit, and now I'm gonna push it the rest of the way. It should make it go all the way. Let me see if I can get this on video. Let's see here. Forgive me if it doesn't work on video, if I don't get it centered on video, but I am pulling on the it is not wanting to go. I think I need a smaller screw head. Let me see if I can get this off the rest of the way. I don't want to damage the wheel, so I'm going to get a smaller screw head. All right, back at you in a second. All right, this is what I did. It worked. So put that on the point of the axle, the motor axle, and then just push, and then bop. Whew, it was tough. Okay, back at it. All right, so check this out. I don't know if this is the right washer size, but I gotta think through this. So this is gonna be spinning, and we don't want this to get too close to here, or it'll bind up. If we use this, it should still spin if it does get back, but don't want that like hitting the axle. I don't want it to be too close either. So maybe this will work. Let me check it out. So I'm gonna pop this back on. Essentially, this washer will keep the plastic from going too far to here. It just gives it a little bit extra clearance. So let's see what happens. I hope I don't have to take this back off, but we'll see. All right, and then I'm gonna test it. All right, it seems to prevent the wheel from going too close to the motor. I'm gonna get this back on, little compression coil spring. That I guess keeps it tight on here, tighter than what it was. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I need to do before I put all this back together. All right. So there was a gentleman who did a complete write-up about taking out the water heater and removing the system, the coach heater, and then saw in a forum, one of the RV forums, Winnebago forums, that someone had attempted to remove the blower motor from the coach heater without taking the water heater out, and that was inspiring to see that. So that's why I've gone down this journey. I want to create a video that would inspire someone else and give them some tips and tricks and make it easier for someone else without having to figure out, recreate the wheel every single time. And so I also watched another YouTube video where a gentleman removed the water heater, and that was also very helpful. A little bit more involved to take the water heater out, but he had the need to take the water heater out. He had a leak that he was trying to diagnose. So here I am. I've got the blower motor out, and in the write-up from the original gentleman, I'm gonna provide that in the notes, a link to that document. I'll put it somewhere where it will exist for anyone watching this video. But in that, he had read where a washer would be good, and he put it in, and he also put a little bit of, he says, contact cement right here, because the theory is, yeah, you don't want it to go too close to the motor, but you also don't want this wheel to come off either and go the opposite direction. So what I think I might do is put a little bit of thread lock, like semi-permanent thread lock right here, just to keep it kind of stationary where it needs to be, and that'll hopefully eliminate that. And something you can take off too. I want it to be off. Maybe even like a gasket maker, or Permatex gasket maker would do the same thing. So I might put a little gasket right there. That should at least slow down any movement back and forth, so we don't have to do this again, because man, it's tough to get in there. Whew. All right, let me get back at it. All right, bye. All right, so apologies for the low light conditions. Got dark on me really fast. It's 5 o'clock. Crazy. All right, so before I'm putting this thing back in and buttoning it up, I am going to test it. So I have it screwed down to my little table here. Hopefully that doesn't jump on me, but I understand this thing can jump. I have some leads to my little jump box for some 12-volt power. Let's see what happens. See if this bad boy works. And all right, we're on. And get this thing away from me. I think we have power. And let's see what happens. And it is spinning. All right, it's blowing. Didn't jump as much as I thought it would, but let's try it again. Let's see here. Get this in here. Make sure it's. Make sure we got some really good contact. There, and there. And if it's gonna rattle like that, I gotta figure out something different. Not happy about rattling, but let's see what happens. It is putting out some air. Doesn't seem to be binding up at all. Not too bad. It's gonna sound like that there. All right. That washer is spinning. Let me see if I can do something about that. All right, I found some smaller washers and I'm doubling it up. The idea is that maybe they will spin together or away from each other. I'm not sure what will happen in reality, but let's see if it works. Okay. All right, test number 2. I used 3 little washers. Hopefully they don't make as much sound as that one big washer. And let's see how it sounds. Wait, let me make sure that is on better. Back to it in a second. All right, got that on there better. Seems to be spinning. Let's see how it sounds. I hear it, but it's not so bad. It's a lot better than the bigger washer. What you think, guys? Ready to go back in? Seems to be working. Got to find out if the high-low resistor is good. That's the next test. That's how it'll sit, actually. It will sit like this. Sounds all right. Handle that. All right, so now we're at the stage where we are going to put this back in. So do everything in reverse practically, and hopefully it goes in smoothly. Sounds all right. It's working pretty well. We just gotta put it in, test it, test the resistor before we close everything up. And then if it's good, but button it all up. By the way, there's the resistor. Let's see here. Right there. So let's hope it goes well. All right, here's a tip. You're probably gonna need some locking vice grips in order to get the end of the screw when you're putting these back in, because the nut just keeps on sliding around and around and around. Let me see if I can get back there. If you see right there, that nut is hard to get on, and then once it's on, then it keeps spinning. So you got to keep it in place. The way that I was able to do it was to get some vice grips on that nut or jam something in there so it keeps that nut from spinning. And the plastic's supposed to do that, but it just wasn't. So just a tip. All right, so this is the moment of truth, and we're gonna find out if the coach heater is gonna blow a fuse. I've got the fuse in the step alarm. It's the top right hand corner fuse. It's a little tiny fuse. Pops every time I either hit high or low. So I'm gonna go with high first and see if we get any action. Let's go ahead and turn on the AC. I don't think that matters. Not quite sure yet. Find out in a minute. All right, will it work? Here we go. Not sure. Just gotta find out if it's blowing.
tell.
Cannot tell. Well, it didn't work because I had the fuse out. So let me put the fuse in and start over. All right, here we go again. Will it work? That is the question. And I hear it. I hear it. It works. Yes. Love it. All right, now the moment of truth. Does the resistor work? The resistor does not work. Pretty sure the resistor does not work. Let's see what we got. Alright. The resistor is going to need a repair. I guess those two go bad together. Somebody could explain that to me, I'm sure, in the comments, why the resistor goes bad. But we do have high. I'll take it. All right. And let me look into the resistor part. All right, so this is the resistor, and I am definitely getting some bad readings with the multimeter. One resistor there is showing no connectivity. The other one is good, so I'm assuming that's the high and low. This one does not have any continuity, and showing yep. So all right, well, I'm gonna put this back in here, try to order a part for this and a replacement. Looks like it's 3 prongs, and I don't know the model number on this. I'll look at the Winnebago schematic PDF, go from there. Well, I'm still at it. I'm trying to put the box back together, and I'm having a little trouble with the heater core and getting that to fit with the screw at the bottom and pulling it close enough. So here's a tip. I'm going to try using a little hook pick to pull in the heater core to the frame of the box, and then screw in one of the other screws. There's 2 screws, and then go from there. All right, the pick did not work, so I'm going to use a long screw to try to reach down, screw it in just a little bit, then use the normal screw on the top, back out, the long screw, and then put in another one, another short screw. So we'll see if that works. All right, guys and gals, all put back together. Whew, wow, what a workout. So what's the moral of the story? The moral of the story is that we had to become a contortionist in order to put a washer in a motor way back in there. Took all day to put one washer in the motor housing. So engineers, really test your stuff. Seriously, this is kind of crazy. But anyway, I'm happy that we were able to accomplish it without pulling out the water heater and cutting hoses and all the craziness that I've seen people talk about in order to get back there, it is possible. It's possible even in the 33 foot, not the 35U. Whoa, you've got a lot of space if you have a 35U. The 33V is what I have. It's a tiny little space, and I was still able to do it. Had to get creative with some of the tools, and had to bend in different ways. But I hope this helps someone. I don't know. Never taken the water heater out, but I've seen some videos where it's done and it can be quite a mess. I'm not sure. I don't know which one I would do. I don't know if I'd go through the water heater, take the water heater out and then get to it, or not, or do what I just did again. Sorry about that. Don't know what to compare it to, but I know that this is possible if you don't feel like you want to remove the water heater. Good luck, and I know I'll be back in here to change out the resistor. I buttoned it all up even without changing the resistor. I don't know if I really need it or not. I'll determine that. I'm happy that it works. Very, very happy that I was able to fix it. And until the next little project, there's always one around the corner. Talk to you soon. Have a great day.